Morning traders. This is my weekend video, real quick and I'm going to title it Preparing for the Big Dow Component Earnings. Okay. And basically, we're going into this week, starting to fire up on the earnings season. And then next week, we have some major Dow components hitting next week. So basically, we saw the big moves this past week, setting up for this week's earnings. And uh, or setting up for next week's earnings. That's correction. This week and next week. So basically, they are looking about 2 weeks out and setting up prices on these options. So I'm going to actually look further ahead than what most analysts are actually looking at this point. So on my little analysis here, okay. Basically, what I'm seeing here, we're going into this earnings season with unprecedented government interference in the markets. We have basically we have full-on socialism now moving into the marketplace where the government's decided that we're going to own equities and basically instead of having a free market system that rewards those companies that succeed and gets rid of the companies that don't. Now all of a sudden we're keeping people on the payroll that should not be, that typically would be laid off. Everything resets and everything. That's the way the free market system is supposed to work. Well, that's pretty much where, because of all the other Japan and China, they've completely. It's more important keeping people on the payroll than it is actually. Uh, so now we to then actually let companies fail and let the free market system work. So unfortunately, we are in a new environment in the markets, and if you don't believe that, then you're nuts. Okay. So that's just some things I'm looking at right here. Basically, on the ES futures, basically we have a 2019 value this last year. This is what build out is a 29.15 area. I'm pretty sure we're going to be going there this week. Look at this. We moved $81 just Friday. Okay, so yeah, we'll probably get that Monday. So basically, that's the highest point to do business. That could act as some responsive resistance for the week. So we'll see what happens going forward here. I personally do not want to be short the markets going into these earnings. Basically, we have automated trading hitting the market floor. And if anybody is paying attention to the market spreads, every time we get a sell off, lo and behold, we get, some sort of a major sell off here recently, the spreads start widening up on the electronic trading since we don't have any floor traders. And so basically, I think there is significant market manipulation happening behind the scenes by the people of the exchanges and the government. I'm not saying they're colluding, but it does look fishy. So I personally do not want to. I think we're actually going to see it more short squeezes this week. So especially in energy, I think they're going to be setting up for energy long going into next week. So definitely be careful here. I do think that's what's setting up here. Okay. Real quick here on our cues. Basically, we've blown right past what most of last year's inventory is, and here we are. Basically, most of the country shut down, and they just absolutely piling it back into the technology. Look at that move this past week in technology, largely driven by Amazon. So I do think Amazon is probably should be technically moving into a corrective phase, but just something to keep on watch. We are still at the highest point to do business for this year. We did come up and tag that this past week. So something to keep in mind here. We're still on the bearish side for the year. That could be a responsive sell point. I'm not going to hold my breath. But technology is hot right now. I mean, we got some of the semiconductors preparing to break out to all 52-week new highs. So definitely something to keep on watch. We are outside of value for our technology going into what seems to be going to be some very rocky earnings with the exception of technology. You got cloud-based companies that are just going to blow it out of the court for the quarter. You got companies like Amazon going to blow it out. You got companies like Netflix going to blow it out. And so technology is the place to be if for this quarter with all the online business. All the businesses doing their business from home, and all the online services required to keep the country going at this point. Okay, on our IWM, showing a lot of relative weakness, of course, because largely due to the energy space. We're right up here, nearing our range highs on our IWM this week. This is a rapid move, potential rapid move area. You see how it when it broke out last time, you know, uh, it is a rapid move, potential rapid move area for IWM going into this week. So something to definitely, if my thesis is right and energy does squeeze into next week's energy earnings, because we have um, something to keep on watch here for our IWM as possibly being an outperformer this week. Okay. I'm going to quickly go through this week's earnings that are going to be hitting the tape. We have Delta. Oh, come on. I hate this thing. Basically, I think it can short squeeze really bad here. I know the numbers are really bad. They got a government backdrop thing. I think the actual it's oversold. $38 is probably the fair value, despite the even horrible numbers and stuff potential this week. So we'll need to keep on watch. Potential short squeeze. AT&T, I think this is completely and totally unjustly the cell carriers unjustly hit. I do think you're probably going to be right back up to $38 for AT&T personally. So we'll see what happens. Halliburton Energy Company really hit with the low oil. You know the numbers are going to be bad, but this is going to set the stage for a lot of oil companies earlier on this week. Are we going to squeeze or are we going to break down? Personally, I think it's going to squeeze higher. I think it's going to be really hard with all the electronic trading to push to the downside. What we'll see. I mean, this is all uncharted territory, so they're going to be doing massive case studies on the whole total electric trading on the trading floor. And ultimately, I think we're heading for 24-hour trading on the exchanges. And basically, if they work out some of the glitches they bring the floor people back on, year from now, we're going to see massive pink slips on the CBOE and NYSE. I have a feeling they're going to completely do away with floor trading, and we're going to go to 24-hour trading, starting with the stock market. Okay, and then a few months later, we'll be going to the option market. So the only way the U.S. can maintain its dominance in the exchanges is to go to 24-hour trading. I do think that's exactly where we're headed, faster than anybody could realize it. So keep that in mind going forward here. Intel, think it's going to have a blowout quarter. So just keep an eye on this. They did do away with their buyback program, which that makes a lot of sense in my opinion. So just definitely something to keep on watch. I do think the yearly value for Intel as of last year, just keep that in mind. We're on a no monthly value. Okay, monthly value as of last year, $67. Very likely we're going to be back to 52-week highs on Intel, in my opinion. Snap, probably very active with everybody off work and stuff. I think they're going to have a blowout quarter. Ad revenue, I don't know how much ad revenue is going to impact Snap. It's definitely going to impact Facebook. So, as far as usage usage is going to be through the roof, in my opinion, for Snap. I'm not necessarily so sure that any type of ad revenue is going to be supportive of price. So, Love Airlines just all got beaten down. I think of the airlines, I think Southwest is probably going to be the least impacted. So just keep that one on watch going forward here. Going into this week, we got Coca-Cola reporting. Definitely going to be impacted very bad. This is probably a fair area for Coca-Cola, in my opinion. Um, so definitely, I'd be very careful to the long side for Coke. Verizon, another one. I think a lot of people are using their phones at home. Streaming video, you name it. I think this is just. I just think they're going to have a very good quarter. I think people are paying their phone bills and stuff, and there's really no cancellation in phone services, in my opinion. Actually, the need for phone services has exploded because of all the at home doing business from home, and you're probably actually got a major expansion in home based business business plans going into this quarter, in my opinion. Netflix blowout quarter already starting to lift up. Look at this multi-year breakup. Basically, the 250 to 409. Basically, if this range, because we broke out here, we're looking at a price target north of 550 a share, in my opinion, for Netflix for this breakout. So keep that in mind. LVS definitely going to be hit really bad. This is probably not something that this is one of the areas it could short squeeze and stuff, but I think it's going to need time to repair for the gaming stocks. Unlike the airlines, I think the gaming stocks are going to be a little bit more going to take a lot more time to repair. American Express, they have just completely battered the credit card companies because basically all the big ticket sales for airlines are shut down. So, you don't have any amusement parks, you don't have any travel, you don't have any leisure like hotels and stuff like that. So basically the only business you're getting with these cards are online sales. So which is definitely going to be strong and stuff, but I think a lot of people are just, in defensive mode and they're buying what they have to right now. So keep that in mind going forward here. American Express, the airline, I don't see a massive upside potential for these credit card companies. Really bad stuff for the railroads with all the oil industry problems. I think it's a breakdown in the transports we're seeing here. I definitely do not want to be to the long side on the transports. Dow Chemicals, guess basically everything shut down. I think it's going to have a rough quarter. Not expecting a whole lot out of Dow Chemicals. Another credit card, Discover Financial, Texas Instrument. They've downgraded it really bad. They have a lot of contracts with the automobile industry. There was no reason for me to push this to the upside at all. Obviously, we have consolidation in this zone here. It wouldn't surprise me back down to the 102 area for Texas Instrument. Philip Morris, I think typically in times of high stress and out of work, the cigarette companies do very well. So you have your dividend, it's a dividend play, plus you have a lot more people smoking because they're idle hands, they're not working. So I'm actually bullish the cigarette companies. Philip Morris, ConocoPhillips, or no, this is Capital One Financial, similar situation with the credit card companies. Union Pacific, like I said, railroads look in trouble. IBM probably going to outperform with cloud services. I think we're going to have a massive explosion in cloud service revenues this quarter. Very, very massive explosion in cloud revenues. And IBM's becoming a major player in the cloud revenue space. So keep that in mind going forward here. Lilly, probably going to get some of that stimulus money for research and development. So definitely something to watch. It's already breaking out. A lot of these companies aren't even going to be coming out with anything for the whole corona mess and everything, but they are going to benefit from massive government stimulus dollars, free public dollars coming into their industry, supporting prices. So, but look at it; it's already taken off to the moon here. Skechers is going to be destroyed. Everything shut down. Skechers, we're probably going to see Skechers sub $20 this week. So definitely something to watch. Lamb Research, another I'm pretty sure it's biotech, Lamb Research. Just something to keep on watch here. I don't really have any bias for that. Lockheed Martin, they've accelerated, like with Boeing, they've accelerated a lot of their contracts with Boeing. I think the same thing goes for Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, the defense contracts. They're getting paid ahead of their payments. Governments increased their payments to where they're going to actually have a very good. I think they're going to have a much better quarter now, and as long as they, along with a lot of others, eliminate their guidance, which I think that's going to be a common theme. I think you're probably going to be 52-week highs here because of the increase in payments, revenue generations coming in because of the government. So keep that in mind going forward here. Biogen, similar situation, getting a bunch of government dollars. I mean, it's hard to even think about shorting this market when you have $2 trillion in stimulus going into the coffers of these companies. So, I don't know which ones are going to be the main beneficiaries, of course. Whirlpool, definitely going to be hit, in my opinion. I don't see any reason. This thing here is probably going to be in the 80, uh, well, I might even get back down, break to new lows. So, definitely Whirlpool. I do not like any type of retail with everything being shut down. Domino's Pizza, definitely breakout play scenario here. Probably going over $400, in my opinion. I know for a fact the Domino's Pizza here locally that I watch, it's a new business. Before this coronavirus started, they had two delivery cars, one person inside. Now they got four people inside, five delivery cars for that one Domino's. If that's any type of benchmark of what's going on right here, Domino's is going to be one hell of a bullish play going into this week. And then CMG, definitely going to get hit. I really think it's going to get hit and hit hard. So, the this here is the premier taco, Mexican, and I think this area here is really just going to get hit hard. We're probably going to be back down sub 630, around $600 or so for this one here. So be very careful going forward here. Okay, I'm getting into next week's earnings. Okay, and this is the core of my discussion. Getting a little bit long here, so I'm going to go as fast as I can. And there is a bunch of them. I mean, it's the embodiment of earnings next week. So not this week, next week. So keep that, and a lot of Dow components. Starting with GE, think it's going to break down to new lows. Okay, Gilead off to the moon. We haven't even gotten back to the prior highs on Gilead 89. It's probably going to be in my opinion, Gilead, you're probably going to be pushing close to $100. Gilead. Ford, destroyed. Um, so basically, they keep entering people on the payroll and stuff by the government stimulus and stuff. I can't say too much about Ford going forward here. They are getting government money, so we'll see what happens here. But they are, like I said, they are getting government money to help them bolster up their spreadsheet. Could there be a squeeze here in Ford? I don't know. So just something to keep on watch. AMD, like I said, back at the 52-week highs. Is it justified? I don't know. Just something to keep on watch here. It just seems a little lofty here given the current market conditions, but I'm not going to fight the trend. So Apple, I think going to be really hit. They had a perfect quarter, near perfect quarter last time, and I think the evaluations are just very, very high for Apple. The big canary in the coal mine, they have hordes of money sitting in the Colfords. I think at this major sell off in the 220 area, so like yes, they have done major buybacks in my opinion. So definitely something to keep on watch here. I don't want to hit whenever you have a company that has so much money on their books and they had the potential to buy back huge amounts of shares. I just definitely do not want to short that going into earnings. I'd rather wait and see the results. Okay, Microsoft. I think it's going to be a blowout quarter for Microsoft. We're probably going to see new all-time highs for Microsoft. Uh, so keep that in mind going forward. I think the cloud services area is just going to explode for Microsoft to the upside, in my opinion. We are preparing to break out of a downward trend here on Boeing. All the government stimulus and stuff. This is what I'm looking at here. We're going into this week. Going to be testing this debt. So I think we're going to have a very good week here for Boeing. So something to definitely keep on watch here. I'm not saying that we're going to get a major uptick, but the 270 or the 170 area is probably going to tag this week for Boeing. So definitely something to keep on watch going into this week. ExxonMobil. That's why I think the energy space is going to squeeze and squeeze hard this week. Very sold off. Look how far away from our moving average we are on our ExxonMobil. I am not necessarily saying it's going to. We have basically a compressed, uh, compressed near the highs value this week's value. So we have value area compression going into this week that even supports my opinion that we're probably more likely going up than we are going down for ExxonMobil this week. So definitely something to keep on watch. 10% Friday. Wow, amazing. Pfizer, just definitely keep on watch here. A lot of money being poured into the research and development. Pfizer's one of the companies trying to solve this virus situation. So definitely something to watch. Uh, the main issue, well, yeah, I just think it's more bullish than bearish going into this week. So Twitter, basically ad revenues are just falling off the chart. So I'm not bullish or bearish. Facebook ad revenues falling off the chart. Definitely, I have a tendency more to the bearish side for Facebook. CVX, like I said, potential squeeze, in my opinion. I'd much rather be to the long side than the short side this week. eBay, I think it's going to be like Amazon. It's going to benefit pretty good. Um, we're not even near back to all time highs here. So even in the $40 range, it's not too expensive for eBay. Visa, credit card companies under pressure, no big ticket sales. BP, possible squeeze situation into this week on energy. Merck, another one, beneficiary for the coronavirus name, with government dollars being pumped into the whole space. Starbucks, really think it's overvalued here. I don't think Starbucks as a retail company has it's just way too lofty. Um, I think this is one of those that can be faded back down to the 66 area for Starbucks. Tesla continues to fire here. We still have not gotten up to my target, the 780. Well, basically the 785 area is the value area for back in February. So 785 is the mid range value. We still haven't even tagged that yet. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't gap up to 785 the first of the week, and at least back test that, and then we'll see where we go from there. Uh, Unless there's news headlines, I'm still quite bullish on Tesla, and the earnings are next week. I kind of think we're going to see a run back up to the 850 area into earnings into next week. So definitely something to keep on watch for Tesla. Mo, Altria, cigarette company. I think it's going to rally. Qualcomm, think it's going to be impacted by Apple. So we'll see what happens with it. This one actually might Qualcomm could actually sell off this week. If my thesis on Apple, my only reason I think Apple could go higher is because of the buybacks. So it's not because necessarily new demand for the product, and then they might selling their apps and stuff on Apple could be very strong. Selling their you know uh, online sales for Apple products, that could be wrong, but most of their stores are shut down. So have been shut down. So definitely the retail sales side on Apple does seem to be in a little bit of trouble. Kraft Heinz probably going to have a really good quarter. Okay. It's a bearish chart, but everybody's sitting at home. I think it's going to really, that is a bearish chart that could actually explode to the upside. Amazon, we had that nice long consolidation. We have our expected moves here. So basically, we have 1345 to 2000. So what is that? 650 points. 2000. So 2650. 2650 would be upside target for Amazon, which very could very easily get. So definitely something to keep on watch. McDonald's. See, it's hard for me to tell with McDonald's. So they are keeping the drive-through services going, but you don't have sit down people sitting down to watch, and everybody sitting at home. So it's hard for me to justify prices up here for McDonald's when most of their business they can't even walk into the store. So definitely UPS. I actually think UPS is going to do well with the online sales. So we'll see what happens. A lot of the with all the businesses being shut down, so they've lost out on a lot of business. Um, they get paid for by business deliveries, packages, and stuff. And with most of the businesses being shut down, I would they're probably going to be negatively impacted in that regard. So 3M, probably going to have a very good quarter, in my opinion. But we'll see what happens. They are making face mask. I think that's what it is. That's their big thing. So uh, uh, the issue I have with 3M is a lot of the paint supplies, a lot of the products that they sell, tape, masking tape, stuff like that. Everything's shut down, so they can't sell any of that stuff. So um, that's definitely one. I won't take it to the long side. So with so much being shut down this quarter, so Pepsi not going to be doing good. Honeywell, similar thing. Most things in business are shut down. Construction, stuff like that. Don't see Cat. Not seeing good things for Cat as well. Basically, this pattern here has broken down. We are trying to back test it. Um, I'm not bullish on Cat, in my opinion. Young Brands, not bullish. Teledoc, I am bullish. It is an explosive upside move on Teledoc. We're at 52-week highs. Sorry about that. Let me remove that so you can see us remove. No, I don't want old drawing. It's just that drawing. There it is. Right at 52-week highs going into earnings. So we'll see what happens here. Not really for sure just how much demand there is for the for the service at this point. Everybody being stuck at home. So it's just one of them things. It's already 52-week highs. It's just not something that I can push at these levels. Hog going to be really bad. People aren't buying motorcycles in this environment. Amgen getting all kind, another one probably getting a lot of government help. Google advertising, definitely not one that I want to break out. It looks like a Head and Shoulders, looks like a shoulder, right shoulder, head, looks like a Head and Shoulders pattern to me. Clorox, 52-week highs. It's probably gonna have a bid under Clorox. With can't keep Clorox on the shelves right now. Service Now, Head and Shoulders pattern. General Dynamics, the acceleration in government spending. They're getting payments ahead. That might help. Like I said, most of the country is shut down, so there's going to be a major impact on any type of industrials, in my opinion. So just don't know how much upside potential you can look for in these names under that scenario. Anthem, United Healthcare did very well, so Anthem might actually follow suit. So definitely something to keep on watch here. Norfolk Southern, uh, going to be hit hard by the oil industry and plus industrials in general. Think about all the cars that car plants that are shut down. These railroads aren't shipping cars, so transports, in my opinion, are going to be under a lot of pressure this week. So, Line Technologies, I don't know much about it, and Norfolk Grumman, another railroad. I just don't want between oil and autos not being shipped. That right there is a major catalyst for railroads. And if you don't have those things being shipped, I mean, I just don't know how the railroads can have any type of bid this week. So something to keep on watch. Okay, that's just basically a quick rundown what I'm seeing going out to next week on earnings. Um, you know, we'll see what happens. Like I said, the it's hard for me to short the markets knowing that there's no floor traders there to actually add to the fear side of the markets. So, we'll see what happens going forward here. But I'm just I'm gonna be trading both sides of the equation this week, and we'll be going from there. I do think the first of the week we're probably going to see more upside coming into the first week. Thanks a lot, and please like the video if you like it, and leave comments below.